I am T-minus 1 day away before I layeth my eyes on the Batman film directed by Matt Reeves, and I'm hearing a lot of really great things about it. I'm still very jealous that I couldn't get my tickets for Tuesday. Nonetheless, we're capping off and concluding the Batman movie review marathon we had going on the channel. If you haven't checked out my reviews for the 90s films or the Nolan films, go check them out right now because we're capping it off with Batman The Dark Knight Returns. It's an animated film based off of the popular graphic novel. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Hets Project. I'm John Ortolaza, and today we're going to be ending the Batman review marathon while I talk about the animated film Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and it's based off of the popular graphic novel that, yes, I haven't read. I did buy it, though, so it's the thought that counts. I don't know, I'm just not a big page reader, but I also don't want to collect digital comics, you know? What if I just took pictures of the pages? Let's just dive right into it, dude. This is a tale of Batman in his later days, his final days as the Batman. He's actually not Batman in the beginning of the story. He retired prior to the story starting, and just so many things creeping up in Gotham. So much crime is still running rampant. He feels the need to return to form, to bring the Batman back, and to take the city back from these thugs, the mutants, the mutant gang. They have a bunch of like Cyclops glasses and spikes coming out of their head. Weird, but they're the ones who are terrorizing the city now. And once again, I did not read the graphic novel, but maybe things that I praised in this animated film were stripped straight out of the comic book. So maybe I'm praising Frank Miller. Like, the idea and the concept of what he was going for seemingly is really dope, and it translated quite well in this animated film, and I think a lot of people should check it out. Man, when the Batman comes back and he puts back on that suit, it feels good in this movie. Like, just the way the action in this animation was put together. Like, I'm not huge into this style of animation. Like, it's very similar to Invincible, and I really enjoy Invincible, man. Like, the story and the music and everything else just got me over, like, the fact that it's not my favorite animation style. And the same thing with this movie, dude. Like, there's so many great things going around the animation that it elevates it and it makes me care. I should also point out, I'm not a huge fan of the other DC animated films. I gave like a couple of them a try, and not all of them grabbed me like this one. Like, this one, there's so much in it, dude, and it's so intriguing, so engaging. I love it. It feels like a live action Batman film made by a really great director, just, you know, smaller scale animation, and it just translates very well in my opinion. Peter Weller as the voice of Bruce Wayne / Batman in this animated film, I think is awesome too. Like, he's such a good voice actor. Like, he has such an intimidating voice, an imposing voice. When you hear it, you listen. I don't care if it's like live action or he's voicing Batman, dude. It's imposing as hell. This movie, though, it does focus heavily on these ideologies of, like, is Batman like really causing bad because he's influencing a lot of crime in the city, and eventually when he dethrones like the Mutant King or whatever he's called, a big section of the mutant gang becomes the Sons of Batman. They put like a Batman tattoo or face paint on their face, and they want to follow in his footsteps, but without actually, you know, doing what he does. Like, they're still killing, they're still doing what they were doing as mutants, but they're just causing more crime, which then leads to bigger and wider conversations amongst news anchors and debate show hosts and whatnot in the background. Not even in the background of the scenes. Like, no, there's front and center scenes of them showing you stuff that's being talked about on the television in the movie, and it's kind of jarring. It's a little annoying sometimes how they continuously cut back and forth to these the television screen, just kind of spewing exposition. It feels that way almost. This movie is long enough to where they can cut all of those scenes out and you don't need any of that. You really don't. It almost feels like the film doesn't really trust the audience to follow along with what's going on, and ultimately I just walk away with not caring and remembering anything that happened in those news anchor scenes where they're like just spewing out crap. Like, they're telling you and kind of recapping things that you just saw or things that are about to see, like, and things, events that, yeah, happen off screen, but they're about to unfold and they're about to see the repercussions of whatever the hell they're talking about. I will say one thing that I really enjoy about the movie, but can look at it and be like, I don't think that can translate very well to live action. It's the durability of this Batman, and I say that because he gets pummeled in this movie. Like, dude, he gets his ass beat bones are broken, and he'll just go back to the mansion, get slinged up, he'll walk into the Batcave, stare at a couple bats, and then he's fine. His first meeting against the Mutant King, the mutant leader, and he gets his ass handed to him. He ends up winning that fight a little bit. He like throws some like sticky gunk in the dude's face so he can't see anymore, and then Batman escapes. He repairs himself, comes back, and he beats the living shit out of that mutant leader. Then we get into the second half of this film, and if you guys didn't know, this used to be like a two-parter type deal, and I used to watch the part 2 the most. I think I only seen part 1 once prior to rewatching it again when they put it together as the deluxe edition. This is the way you should watch it though. It's a pretty lengthy animated film, but like I said, with all of those scenes of just pointless exposition from the news anchors and the debate shows, you don't need that, dude. That can probably shave off a good 15 minutes. I'm sorry to go back to it, but I just want to say that's probably an aspect of the graphic novel that just works better on a comic book page as opposed to in live action in a film. You can't keep cutting that many times back to the stupid anchors. They're not engaging, they're not characters we care about, and ultimately, where's Batman? I'm totally joking, guys. We didn't get deprived of Batman in here, dude. We got a really badass, dope Batman in this film, dude. He's grizzled, he's old, he's hurting, but he is not afraid to break some bones and kill some people, dude. He is brutal in this movie. In the beginning of the second part, we have a scene with the US president talking to Superman, trying to get him to help the country out with a war, and that's the introduction of Superman in this story, and it gets pretty juicy afterwards. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned the Dark Knight Returns animated film when I reviewed Batman v Superman, but this is essentially like where they got that fight from. Like, this is where they were pulling from. This is the popular comic where Batman and Superman square off, and that's where Batman v Superman kind of took its inspiration from just a little bit when it came to like the conflict, but you know, they ultimately changed it for some bullshit reason in that movie. But we're not going to talk about that right now because that's going to make me upset and really pissed off, and we're talking about the Batman The Dark Knight Returns because that's an infinitely more entertaining film in my opinion. Why does the Batman exist? Because the city is always in peril, the system is corrupt, and the people need a symbol to look up to. I'm sure the conflict between Superman and Batman in this story from the graphic novel is much more complex than I'm about to explain it as, but it's essentially Superman has now fallen in line with the guidelines of the world. Like, he's kind of like the soldier for the people of the world, while Batman is a symbol. He goes out of his way to do what is necessary to stop the evil. Some people might think Batman's ideologies in this storyline are a little unhinged, and he is inciting violence to an extent, you know, with the mutant gang spreading out, becoming the Sons of Batman, also becoming this like Nazi-like group, which is interesting. And yeah, it's a really interesting concept when you think about it, man. Like, Batman really does influence a lot of the crime that happens in this story, and you can see from Superman's point of view like how that's bad and how Batman needs to be stopped, but you can also see that, you know, like Batman, you know, he's onto something. He's gonna stop it, he's gonna fix things, he's got a plan, so he's gonna see it out, and if Superman's in the way, about to beat that ass. And dude, maybe I said it in my review of BVS, but I'm gonna say it here. The fight between Batman and Superman in this animated film is infinitely better than the fight between Batman and Superman in BVS. It is a fight that has stakes in it and involves two people who have known each other for years, and it's like a friendship departing. It's a friendship crumbling at their feet, and it's really awesome, dude. I almost look at it like this. Superman he's a stronger guy, of course. He is pretty much invincible and vulnerable to anything Batman has to offer when it doesn't come to kryptonite and whatnot. But let's just look at it that way. He is the hard ass. He's the dude almost thought to be indestructible. He is kind of like the way, like the one constant way things should be done in society. And Batman is the vulnerable one, someone who can be broken, someone who can be pushed to the side and destroyed, but he fights against the constant and he creates his own path. And I love that ideal, dude, and that concept. It's similar to the concept between Iron Man and Cap when they were fighting each other in the Civil War film, but this is Batman and Superman, dude. This is the ultimate version of that. This is an alien who became the symbol for the world while Batman is, he's an Earthling who tried to do that, and yeah, he's getting ridiculed for his ways, and he's trying to course correct and make things right while he feels that Superman is just another soldier falling in line. Real quick, I have to talk about the score. I had to throw this in here. Dude, Christopher Drake, I don't know who you are, why you're not scoring more movies, but you are amazing. You're an incredible talent, dude. You created such a great score. In my opinion, it's iconic, dude. I love the theme to the grizzled Batman in the Dark Knight Returns animated film, dude. It's some of the best scoring for a superhero film I've ever seen, I've ever listened to, I should say, and it's really good, dude. You guys should check this movie out for the score alone. It's awesome. It's really freaking epic. Anyways, guys, that is my review and thoughts on Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Let me know down below, have you ever checked it out yet? If not, you should probably do that. I recommend it because it's so good, man. I forgot to talk about the Joker, dude. God dang it. They do such a good job with the other characters, like old classic rogues gallery villains of the Batman, kind of like still existing in this world, this futuristic world of Gotham City and whatnot. But Joker's still here. He's still pretty much the same guy, Joker. And man, I love that fight between them too. But again, no more talking about it. It's a really good film. There's a lot of great aspects to it, minus all the news anchor bullcrap exposition scenes that I could do without, because I understand the movie without them. Anyways, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be sure to stick around because I will be covering The Batman this Friday. I'm seeing it tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. So there's a lot of content coming to the channel, and there is more to come.